Hello, friends. Hope you're doing well. We got Dr. Zevia today. Zevia, what's up? Send me some free stuff. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing like this. I still hate this backdrop. What are you gonna do? The blue. I have the blue pointing at me. I think maybe the blue should go the other way. Maybe. With the pull-up bar there's really just nothing you could do about it. I've been doing, for heavy clubs. They're what they sound like. They're weighted clubs. And today was the first time I actually clocked myself in the knee. I was using a 10-pound club and I was doing swings where they're outside circles, so you push out and then you swing around and catch it. And usually your knees are way out of the way, but I just wasn't paying attention and I bat myself pretty good in the knee, which surprisingly doesn't really hurt. Considering how hard I felt like it would be if someone clocked you pretty good with a club in the leg, direct hit to the knee. It doesn't really hurt that bad. So I'm interested to see if it'll be a delayed thing and it'll swell up or something tomorrow. But it's been a couple hours and feels fine walking on it. I can bear weight on it. That's not any kind of stinging pain. It's kind of just a dull ache, which is indicative of if anybody hit you with a baseball bat, you'd be feeling. So I think I got lucky. I wasn't swinging that hard, and it wasn't that heavy. It's only 10 pounds. So, that's kind of a bummer. But I finished a book, Steal Like an Artist by Kleon, and I want to talk about it. I use money as a bookmark because I got that kind of cash. I just don't ever use cash for anything, so I have it laying around. So I'm like, oh, bookmark, cash. Anyway, I love this book. I love all of Austin Kleon's books. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But this book, Steal Like an Artist, it's a part of a trio of books. Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, and Keep Going. I think they are required reading if you want to do anything artistic. As you can see, there's a lot of tabs. So I'll just go through, and the book is very short. The book is, you're talking, it's 140 pages, and there's pictures, the chapter titles, so many pictures. Anyway, let's just discuss it. Let's just talk about it. Basically, what this book is, and what the trio of books are. This one is specifically about finding influence and being okay with the idea that you're gonna steal stuff, and that's how everybody gets started. Is they just steal stuff, and if you steal from one person, you're a thief. But if you steal from a lot of people, it's research. That's one of my favorite quotes. I'm pretty sure it's in this book. But here you go. Boom. I love this. I actually even bought a second copy of this book so I could rip out some of these and hang them up on my wall. I've got one. Let's see if I can find my favorite one. That hangs out in front of the office. Oh, I just passed it. This is on the door to the office. Boom. Can you read it? Yeah. It's great. There's so much good advice in here. Just about, case in point, start copying. Nobody is born with a style or a voice. We don't come out of the womb knowing who we are in the beginning. We learn by pretending to be our heroes. We learn by copying. And it just talks about how when musicians get started, they learn scales, they learn notes. That's copying. If you want to be a famous painter, you'll go and you'll sketch famous works. You'll study the work and you'll copy it. So why is, like every other creative field, why is that frowned upon? You know, why is it frowned upon if you want to be a filmmaker, if you want to be a YouTuber? Why do people give you shit for ripping things off? Like, well, I mean, they give you shit because it's too on the nose, and you gotta find more sources of influence, and the more sources of influence you find, the more original it'll seem. That's kind of the thesis of this book, and it's a great book, and you should read it. And I'm gonna dig through some more. Let's find some other good ones in here. Oh, there's a good excerpt. In the beginning, obscurity is good. A lot of people talk about how do you get discovered, and it's actually the author Austin Kleon says it's a good thing. This is actually a good thing because you want attention only after you're doing really good work. There's no pressure when you're unknown. You can do what you want, experiment, do things for the fun of it. When you're unknown, there's nothing to distract you from getting better. You have no public image to manage, no huge paycheck on the line, no stockholders, no emails from agents, and no hangers on. Enjoy your obscurity while it lasts. Use it. And along with that, then the not-so-secret formula for becoming known is do good work and share it with people. This book is just like every page, and it's so short, it's so fast. You could read this in like a day if you wanted to. And the other two books. So the other two books are Show Your Work and Keep Going, and they're all great. And you can actually you can get them all like as a box set, or I think they're all an audiobook now. All three of them come in as one book on Audible, or they're almost always on the Kindle for like $2. Crazy cheap. Oh, or you can just buy the hard copies for $5-10, whatever they are. I got stuff in my eye. But Show Your Work is about promoting your work without kind of feeling scummy, without feeling promotery about it, which is something a lot of artists struggle with. And then Keep Going. It was actually it was released just before the pandemic started, but it's about, continuing a creative practice in uncertain and rough times. So it's a great book to read right now, especially now that we're in year 3 of this shit, and I don't see it ending anytime soon. I remember early on in the pandemic, somebody who was a epidemiologist, or whatever you call that, somebody who's an expert in pandemics, said best case scenario it would take 3 years. And I was thinking back then in March of 2020, I was like, God, I fucking hope not. And now it's like, yeah. 3 years was really optimistic. I think we're still gonna be wearing masks this time next year, probably. So maybe not though. Whatever. Let's talk about better things. Let's talk about good things. I finished that book, and it's just I can't. If there were books that I would recommend to everybody doing any kind of creative work, I would say these 3 Austin Kleon books: Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, and Keep Going, and The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And then if I had to pick one more book, I might throw in a dark horse. It's just like a motivational book, something like something like Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, or Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. Just something that gets you going, because being creative and making money as a creative is fucking hard, and I think you need a little bit of that sort of chip on the shoulder sort of mentality that you get from a book like Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. If you're not familiar with David Goggins, the guy's fucking crazy. He's a very stay hard kind of a guy, and basically he was this fat guy who was just not having a good time, and he saw a commercial for the Navy SEALs, and he was like, I'm gonna fucking do that. And so he went to the recruiting office, and they're like, you're too fat, here's the chart. And he was like, when's the next recruiting class? And they're like, it's in 3 months. And he had to lose like 100 pounds. And so fucking dude fucking did it. He lost 100 pounds in 3 months through just a bonkers fucking regimen that would probably kill most people. And then he went to Navy SEAL. It's called Buds, or whatever SEAL camp is called. I think it's called Buds. And he had to do it 3 times because like he kept getting injured. And then the 3rd time, he like definitely broke his leg. And it's just like you only get 3 shots at passing Buds. And so he just like kept going on a broken leg, like running miles a day on a broken leg. So it's just funny. And then he became like an ultra marathoner after that. He's just a crazy guy. So if you want to just like think about, if you want some motivation, that's a good source of it. Jocko Willink, on the other hand, his book is a lot more centered in taking ownership of your situation, which I think is another thing that artists and creatives need to do. I feel like, I hate to say the word soft, but like I feel like a lot of creatives are really soft when they first kind of get into it, and it's if you want to do this kind of work, you have to be a little hard. You have to not take things personally. You have to be very open to collaborating and critique, and because especially with filmmaking, I don't know how it is with other things. Like with photography, a lot less so, but you're gonna have clients and they're gonna have wants and they're gonna give you critiques. And it's gonna sometimes it's gonna hit you and you're gonna be like, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they probably don't, but they're paying you, so you have to just smile and nod and do what the dumb fucking idea was of theirs. But especially in like filmmaking, and YouTube is a little different because you can kind of do it on your own. But if you want to be doing filmmaking, like it's real collaborative, and you're really gonna have to have a tough skin, because you can't just take your fucking ball and go home every time you don't like, the way the rest of the team thinks about something. You're just gonna have to collaborate. But Extreme Ownership is just a great book about, kind of tactics for how to navigate that sort of environment, how to work with people, and how to take ownership of things, and most of all, just like take responsibility. And I feel like if so often I'll work with people and they'll just be like, X, Y, Z, the client, or this isn't right. And if you just take ownership of situations and you're like, okay, I know this might happen, how can I prevent that from happening? How can I be ready for that situation if it happens? You get to a location and the location sucks. It's like, okay, well, what can we do? How can we prepare for that as best as possible? If you get to, you're making a commercial and you're shooting it in the boardroom, and the boardroom is it's a boring conference room, like, what can you do? Like, well, you can have a green screen ready to go, and you can put them on a green screen, and green screen's nobody's first choice, but like sometimes that could be better than just putting them in a fucking boardroom. So something to think about there. So yeah, those would probably be the 5 or 6 books I recommend to every creative. There's probably better, another great one would be like Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is a great book about establishing habits and getting on with stuff. So that'll probably I don't know if that's the next book I'm gonna read, but it's definitely high up on the list, and it's a good book to read at the beginning of the year, so you can kind of start establishing your habits and really have a good year. But that does remind me of one more thing in the Austin Kleon book. Let me see. It's towards the end. It's the idea about keeping a logbook. Let me see if I can find it. Calendar. Probably it's around here Okay. So the idea is to keep a logbook, and what it is it's just like a daily calendar that you just kind of jot down notes about what you did that day. So like here's the authors, if you can see here. It's just kind of notes about like things you did, you know, who we ate with, and I started keeping that. I did it in 2020. And I didn't do it in 2021 because I couldn't get the notebook. I ordered the notebook too late. So this last year, I ordered one in like October to have it for this year. And I've been keeping track again, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking love this, because you make little notes about what you did, and then you just gotta go back and you're like, okay, and you can start to see at, you know, a couple page flips of like, this is what I accomplished this week, and you start to, it really does make you feel better, like you're actually getting things done, like you're accumulating stuff, because especially like this, like so much of it happens in these just tiny little pieces. And if you don't step back every once in a while, and you don't just look at your YouTube channel and be like, fuck, I made like 600 videos. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, if you're just like, oh man, I haven't made a video in like 2 weeks. Like, you know, you get down on yourself. And you know, what's nice about the logbook is, again, on that same thing, I just kind of was like, oh, you start to get down on yourself. But if you look in those pages, you start to see like 3-4 days of like, oh, I haven't made a video. It really brings it to your forefront and keeps it fresh in that space. You know, there's times where like I'll get busy and I just like won't make a video in a while. And I think having that logbook and being like, oh, okay, well, I haven't made a video in like a week, but I've watched like 12 movies. Like, I can go peel some time away and go make a 15-minute video, like, whatever. Like, let's go get it done. So, that's all I got today. Get this book. I'll leave a little affiliate link or whatever. If you want to buy it, then I'll get something from Amazon. I don't know how that works. I think I get some amount of money, amount of 10 cents. You know, make me 10 cents richer and Jeff Bezos $9 richer. It's a pretty fair trade. Or go find us go support local bookstores. They can order it for you, you know. Hopefully they don't just order it on Amazon and upcharge you the price difference, but I know some bookstores do that, I guess, which is kind of shitty. But we're gonna assume your local bookstore is a good one. So, fuck Jeff Bezos. Let's steal like artists this year. Let's make some cool shit, and let's have some good days. There's lots of good days ahead of us, right? Let's not bap our knees with heavy gloves. Let's stay healthy, you know. Anyway, I hope you're doing well, and if not, well, I hope that turns around here for you here real soon. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.